always wanted to be a black belt in a martial art. And so I started training Krav Maga, and became an instructor, and I started my own Krav Maga business. I was teaching self-defense in my community and working towards my black belt. And then I got into the security field. Um, Even though I was a felon, I was in good shape. I was in my 40s, and I was studying Krav Maga, and I got a job with a security company and started running nightclub security, and not the greatest place to work if you're trying to stay sober. Um, so again, it was like this identity crisis of like, I'm teaching classes, kind of like the whole tough guy thing
Yeah.
again. I'm a martial artist. I'm a bouncer at a bar. I'm doing construction. I hate construction, but I need to make a living. And I was trying to make a living doing martial arts, and I started training in some other martial arts. I got my first black belt when I was 46, and my instructor at the time, um, invited me to be on the cover of one of his books. And so that's when I got introduced to Facebook and social media.
Hmm.
And I started my Facebook page for my Krav Maga business, and um, started networking in that community. And I started traveling across the United States.
Did
Yeah, do you have a
did
question?
becoming a Krav Maga instructor, um, did that assist in your shift from becoming into becoming a mentor and advocate for others? Do you like those instructional type skills?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. I mean, I guess short answer, yes. It was like a it was like a double-edged sword. It was almost there was like wearing two hats in a way, because on one hand, um, for me personally, like starting from scratch, having no experience, like not knowing how to throw the proper kick, or learning different techniques, learning something new, it really built my self-esteem. I mean, it's part of my recovery story for sure. Like I am capable. I can learn new things. I am good enough. And so it boosted my self-esteem. It boosted my self-confidence, especially because the system that I was in, it had 5 levels, and it had instructor levels. And then I was invited to go train. They had, excuse me, a law enforcement instructor course. And I said, my instructor said, you're not the same man that you used to be despite your criminal record. And they invited me to come train with law enforcement officers, and I became a certified Krav Maga law enforcement instructor, even though I'm not a law enforcement officer, but I got the certificate to train. And so it really boosted my self-esteem and my morale. Really like uh, helping people learn, and teaching, and being a positive role model. At the same time, I still had a hard time. I wasn't all in recovery wise. I still was trying to do it my way. And I started getting gigs like, so I have a company called American Krav Maga. I have a little studio in our town, and I have a couple private clients. I don't have time to teach classes anymore on a regular basis, but I still want it in my life. I love it. But my American Krav Maga business, I started shooting videos in my backyard of you don't have to be part of these big organizations that have high monthly dues. I was teaching classes in my backyard, had $10 drop-in fee if anyone wanted to learn. I was teaching at the park. I was teaching at the local community center. I couldn't afford my own like school, my own dojo. And I started putting videos out there. And then I had a guy in New York that was like, hey, I was part of this big company, but they want $400 a month to be part of their organization. And I only have a handful of students, and he really liked the message I was putting out. I flew to New York, trained him as an instructor. I created a logo, and started selling like affiliate packages. So then I was like in California and Montana. I started traveling New Mexico, teaching, doing seminars.